Well, this is San Miguel Mission, and many historians and many people consider this the oldest standing church in the United States. It was founded in 1610. The walls are original. They have never fallen. They're about 3 feet thick, original adobe on the inside. They're plastered here to preserve them, and they're buttressed on the outside to reinforce them, so they've never fallen. That's why it's considered the oldest standing church in the United States. The roof, however, is not so lucky. The roof was burnt in the 1680 Pueblo Revolt. The Pueblo Indians revolted against the Spanish, and they stood up on top of the oldest house, which is right across the way, and they shot flaming arrows into 2 windows here, and the roof caught fire and collapsed. Okay, that was 1680. This roof, we consider it replaced by 1710. There's a beautiful viga, a beautiful beam that has the date 1710 on it, so we think it was replaced by then. The oldest piece that we have is the bell. It's the oldest one in North America. The date on it is 1356. It was forged in Spain when the Christians were fighting the Moors. And at that time, the people of a village, San Jose in Andalusia in southern Spain, prayed to Saint Joseph. And they said if they won the battle with the Moors, they would dedicate a bell to him, and that's the bell that they dedicated to him. So it says on it the date 1356, and it also says San Jose rogad por nosotros, Saint Joseph, pray for us. So it was brought over by the missionaries to Veracruz in Mexico, and it stayed there till 1812. And in 1812, a family from Santa Fe bought the bell, brought it back to Santa Fe in their home, which was by the Hilton Hotel, and it stayed in their courtyard until 1848. In 1848, it was brought here to the mission, and at that time, they decided to put a 3-tiered bell tower on top of the mission, which was architecturally a mistake. And they put the 780-pound bell into the top tier. And in 1872, there was a minor earthquake here, 4.5 magnitude, and also a windstorm at the same time, and that bell fell out into the courtyard. The bell towers toppled, and that bell never got up back into the bell tower. So in 1898, they brought it in here, and it's been here ever since. And you can see the milagros, which are the tiny little charms that are placed on the bell's posts. It's an old tradition. People will buy a charm that has to do with something they want to pray for, and they'll post it there and then light a candle and say a prayer to San Miguel and pray for a milagro. So 2 other very old pieces that we have are wall hangings. One is on buffalo skin and one is on deer skin, and those were done in the 1600s by the Franciscans to talk to the Native Americans about the religion. They would use an image such as the crucifixion or St. John the Baptist. So they're very old pieces, and the missionaries were able to roll them up and bring them from village to village. They're very handy. The reredos, or the altar screen that we have in the front, was done in 1798. The date is on the left and on the right on the bottom. It was done by a man we call Laguna Santero. It was paid for by a Spanish nobleman who wanted to renovate the chapel, and he hired Laguna Santero, who was a santero, which is an artist that devotes himself to religious themes. And so what the artists in the Americas tried to do, they tried to imitate the altar screens that are in the Spanish cathedrals. But of course in Spain, the altar screens, or the reredos, are done with wrought iron, gold, and silver. And here in the Americas, we had wood and natural dyes, and so that's what they used. So the style is Baroque from central Mexico. This was unfortunately painted over with 5 coats of white kitchen paint for many years, and it wasn't until 1955 that it was restored to its beautiful colors. It took about 100 gallons of paint remover and about 6 months to do. But we were very lucky that the paint was still very vibrant, and we have this beautiful piece today. It's one of a kind in the world. The 2 paintings in the middle, the rectangular paintings, they were done in the 1740s. The one on top is San Miguel, that's St. Michael the Archangel. And the one in the middle is Jesus Nazareno, Jesus of Nazareth. And that was a very popular theme with the santeros at the time. The one on top of San Miguel is done by a very famous person. His name is Bernardo Mieri Pacheco. And here in the Southwest, he is the very first cartographer or map maker of the entire southwestern part of the United States. His maps were used all the way up into the 1850s. He was also not only an artist, but a sculptor, a politician. He served as a mayor. He was a general in the army, and he was also an engineer. So he was sort of a Renaissance man of the 1740s. The four paintings around that, they're oval paintings, are of European saints. They were done in the 1700s in Mexico, but they depict European saints. The one on the top on the left is Saint Teresa of Avila in Spain. She was a mystic and a doctor of the church. And on the right on top, we're not sure, it could be Saint Colette of France, or it could be Saint Gertrude of Germany, which was a very popular subject for the santeros of the time. In the middle level on the left, you have Saint Francis of Assisi. And if you look at him, he is wearing a blue tunic. In the 1700s, the Franciscans wanted to promote devotion to the Blessed Virgin, so they wore blue. And on the right is Saint Louis of France, Saint Louis. He was the King of France, King Louis IX, who was canonized. On the bottom level of the reredos, you have three what we call bultos, or carved figures. And on the left, you have Saint Francis of Assisi again, and he's also, again, wearing a blue tunic. In the middle is San Miguel, and that's the oldest of the three. That's Saint Michael the Archangel. And that statue came from Mexico. It was carved in the 1600s and brought here. On the right is Saint Anthony of Padua, San Antonio, who's a very popular saint here. He was a Franciscan. And the three of those are original and brought here from Mexico at various times. Now, if you step up and look down the altar rail, you have an excavation that was done in 1955. You'll see the original floor from 1610 and steps up to the altar, and part of the altar also from 1610. But in that excavation, they also discovered that about a foot below that level is a foundation of an Indian dwelling that was from the 1300s. And what the story is that this whole little area of Santa Fe is called Barrio Analco. The Analco Indians had a village here in the 1200s, which got abandoned. They're not sure why. But in the 1590s, when the Franciscans started coming up from Mexico, they would see a lot of foundations in this area, and they used them. They used this one to build the mission. The oldest house in the United States, which is right across the alley, also has a foundation from the 1200s, as do some of the other buildings in this area. So it's a very historic and important area of Santa Fe. They also discovered that this has been holy ground for many, many, many years. There are about 300 corpses buried below the church and out into the courtyard. There are some beautiful pictures of the mission in through the years out in the hallway. And don't forget to ring the bell. The legend is that if you ring the bell, you come back to Santa Fe.